Welcome sports fans. You are now watching the Baseball Hippie Show. Baseball Hippie Show. Baseball Hippie Show. Wow, it's the Baseball Hippie Show. Welcome all, it's just love and baseball. Just love and baseball. Just love and baseball. Baseball Hippie Show. Welcome all, it's just love and baseball. Baseball Hippie Show. Welcome all, it's just love and baseball. Baseball, just love and baseball.
What's up?
Just love and
everybody?
baseball.
We're live.
Baseball.
Thursday,
Just love
August
and
24th. I was going to say 29th. It is the Baseball Hippie Show. I am the Baseball Hippie. To my right, I got my man, Brownbear.
Yo, what's good?
Man, probably the best intro in baseball podcasting, we'd like to say. It's a Tobe original. Tobe's usually the other co-host, but he is not on. He signed off tonight doing some East Coast activities. Maybe we'll get a call in from him. That'd be fun.
That'd be rad.
But this is back to the original. Brown Bear. Me and you, back in the olden days of our podcast. When we were young. We were young back then. Lots of technical difficulties. I'll say I tried to push it a little too much. There's only so much you can do with Wi-Fi. We're working off the home Wi-Fi. As you can see, we're both in our homes. This isn't a high production thing, but man, we used to call out the software program a lot on this show.
Well, it took us like a year to figure out how to use it right or to get it to work correctly. So it should be a little more user friendly than that. But I will say, shout out Wirecast. Yeah. We haven't had a technical difficulty in quite a while. True.
And we played Doug. We used to try to get a lot of clips in. We played Doug.
Oh yeah, we got shut down like every time.
Yeah. But banging on a trash can because we were covering the Astros. Man, we have been at it for a minute. I think we set it off, and the whole banging on a trash can cheating scandal had gone, and then the pandemic, and then obviously life events. Brown Bear became Papa Bear, and then the Mariners made the playoffs last year. So it's been a ride.
It's some shit.
And then Tobe joins the show, man. He's just kind of miss him tonight, but it's back to the old days, man. So as we do in all shows is the shout outs, but before the shout outs we say, what up, Brown Bear? How you doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Just chilling. Can't believe this Mariners run. Can't believe the teams that have fallen, how they've fallen. I'm sure we'll get all into that, but I'm just a little dumbstruck at what's been going on.
Angels in the Mariners outfield, man. I mean, it's crazy. You know, they were talking about it because I've been going really hard on a lot of baseball podcasts. Yeah. Oh, man. They were saying, what's your favorite? Oh, man, that should be the shout out. I was going to make it the shout out. So we'll just get into that. But, man, that's good, man. I mean, I'm as dumbstruck as you. But I think it's just, we've been doing this Baseball Hippie Show for a while. We know about the cosmic forces, the psychedelia, that just, if you book them, they will come. Or excuse me, that's if you build it, they will come. That's Wade's World.
Yeah.
Man, spoofs were just the thing back then, man. Wayne's World, Naked Gun, they just loved to spoof. Yeah. Well, that's cool, man. Tobe got me the new hat. try to wear it as high on my head as I can. Kind of look like a peanut right now.
Yeah,
But,
y'all were out in Phillies land, huh?
Yeah, we just got back. I was just hanging with Tobe and Josh Kosh. My gosh. But man, I'm also dumbstruck, and I'm happy to be on the show. You know.
Yep, it's been a couple weeks.
Got my Rodriguez, yeah.
Oh,
Straight Rodriguez, man. I'm just hyped.
Got the J-Rod blue. Oh, with
I don't
the
know
All-Star
what
patch.
to say. I told you so. I mean, I went to the All-Star game, man. I'm official. I did it this year. I bought all the way in, and I canceled my season tickets in a fit of rage. The lady called me the other day, like, "You sure you don't want them for next year?" And I realized you can. I just realized this, and I've been giving up games that I couldn't go to or get anybody to go to, just 2 seats, like in the 300s. I had season tickets for 20 games. I still do. In the 300s. I didn't even know you could get season tickets for a 300 seat first off.
You can't find anyone to go?
Well, like, nah, some games, yeah, I couldn't. And what you can do is you can just either sell the ticket, which I couldn't do some nights, even though I sold the Felix like Saturday at him because I couldn't go and nobody would, I don't have a lot of baseball fans up here, man. Just DT.
Yeah, damn. I wish I was closer and I would be all over that shit, man.
Man, we should give him away on the Baseball Hippy show. Fuck it. Yeah. I think it was kind of bullshit, but then I learned you can transfer and you can just sell the tickets back and it gets you like stuff at the stadium, or I think it either gets you other tickets or it gets you like stuff at the team store, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, wow.
Damn, you can just trade your tickets in for their original value and just use them somewhere else in the stadium. I'm a dumbass, so I'm gonna try that.
So you're keeping your season tickets then?
I haven't made a decision yet, but I really only got them to go to the All-Star game, and I did. And like, I've gone to a lot of games, but I've like missed like 4 already, and I have about 4 left. So I've gone to about 12 games, I think 10. I've missed like 4 games straight up though. Yeah. Like, I think 3 of them I just couldn't even get tickets away, So that was stupid.
Well, hopefully things go right and you get a little postseason action to make up for it.
Well, we'll be in line for that with the season tickets. Now that
That's what I'm saying.
20 can't get older. Yeah, man, we're balling out, dude. We're doing it this year, and it feels good because it was just like last year I bought cable, and I was just like, man, why did I even buy cable? I just bought it to watch the Mariners. I can't even do it. This year I'm snaking off Tobe's girlfriend's brother's Fubo, and so I'm getting the free hook.
Yeah, dude, I'm on my dad's Fubo.
Yeah, Fubo, shout out.
Fubo's tight.
Yeah, but then I don't know, man. All I know is congratulations, Mariners. You're making a run. We're proud of you, even if we somehow fumbled the bag here. I don't know, man. It's been good. It's like the sun always comes out in spring. I feel like it's what it really is.
Yeah, man. I mean, there's no reason to think they're gonna fumble the bag. They've put together like they got a solid rhythm going, and I don't know. You know me, I'm always online seeing people's opinions and stuff, and there's a lot of people down after that White Sox loss the other day because that was kind of whack. But dude, they had 2 8-game winning streaks in the month of August. Like, that just doesn't come out of nowhere, and it is, as much as I've been down on the team this year from where I usually am at, like, you can't do that if you don't have something sustainable going on. You don't just luck into 2 8-game winning streaks.
No. And I mean, we'll get into it. We'll get into it, man. We will get into it. I'm almost thinking we get into Mariners talk before we do the weekly roundup. Because, like, man, like, But before we do that, man, let's do some shout outs here. I just want to shout out Mookie Betts' podcast, man, and Mookie Betts. Today at work, I'm just listening to Mookie Betts talking to Trout on a couch. You can tell they're just chilling. It's like he somehow gets people to relax, and it's just like, man, it's just like superstars. Like, it's always the first 30 minutes is just like surface level shit, and somewhere deep, he just starts asking them repeat questions about being a big leaguer, and they just like it's like a tell-all, dude. They just go in, they're just like tell you about their routines and like what their life is like, you know. And it kind of, I don't know, it's just it really is like something that I don't think any other person could do except being good at baseball, you know. And he brings on like young dudes and he kind of flexes, you know, but it's like he's kind of just like the game's in your hands, you know. That's
funny. I've seen clips. I haven't actually listened to a whole episode. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, he had Tristan McKenzie. Is that his name? No, Tristan Gore. Yeah, Tristan.
So there's Tristan McKenzie and Mackenzie Gore, two different people.
Oh shit!
Tristan McKenzie's like the super tall, skinny dude.
Yeah.
Mackenzie Gore was on the Padres and got traded to the Nationals in that Juan Soto trade.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Damn. You were dropping knowledge on the last podcast, man. You were just dropping nuggets at the end. I like that.
Oh, yeah. We were reading off Quora.
Yeah. Maybe do that idea for Chat GPT, though, where we just feed it nerds, like feed it baseball, talk to it, and AI, like, that just knows that. Give me some obscure reference to some stats, and it just, like, has, like, the stat table just up for you. Would be pretty baller. Well, cool, man. Shout out, man. Well, let's just get into the Mariners talk then, man. Like you said. Dumbfounded, dumbstruck. I didn't think we'd be going to the next episode just so stoked. Well, I didn't watch our last episode, which was a couple weeks ago, right? We were stoked on the Mariners back then. We were like starting to get hot on them. But now
I think it was like 2 episodes ago that me and Tobe were like particularly down on them. I think it kind of was lightening up last time, but we still hadn't really started the big streaks yet. And I still think me and Tobe weren't like super high on him in the last episode.
Well, let's talk about the big streaks. Obviously, you're talking about the 2 8-game winning streaks we've just come off of here on August 24th. Also, the Julio streak. When I was in Philly, I wasn't really watching the games, but I was just getting goosebumps. I was like, what? 4 for 5, 4 for 5, 5 for 5, and like 4 for 6 or something were the stat line. Just days. I was like, am I reading the same game? He went 4 for 5 again with 2 doubles. Some of them, he had 3 homers in the stretch, but yeah, he hit 17 hits in 5 games, which apparently is a record. And it always gets me today because Brown Bear, if we keep doing this show for years to come, he won't be 22. He might be 29 or 32 someday. I'm 36 right now, but shit, he'll probably hopefully be 36.
Yeah.
Are we watching a legend be born? Is this real? Man, I honestly can't. Is he the second incarnation of Ken Griffey Jr.? Like, that's the question right now.
Yeah, I mean, I do think I would say spiritually, yes. I think he's a slightly different makeup than Griffey. I want to say
spiritually, yes.
I want to say he's going to have like a little bit, overall, he's going to have a little bit less power than Griff. He's not going to be.
Yeah, but he seems to be comfortable now getting walks and hitting singles and playing into that game. He can etch his greatness however he wants, you know?
Totally. Yeah, but I guess I see, in my mind, I see him keeping his speed and his ability to like he wasn't like he was never a slow dude, but he wasn't profiled as one of the fastest dudes in the league, and he like between age 19 and 20 like taught himself to be significantly faster. So I feel like that's going to be part of one of the defining parts of his game is his speed combined with his power, although I don't think he'll reach quite the same heights as Griffey with his power, but who knows? I mean, the dude's 22 years old. Anything can happen at this point. He still has so much like potential to develop his game in like any number of ways that he wants to. I think this year he like I don't have the metrics in front of me, but defensively he's changed his game. He's on a different level. I think he's in consideration for a Gold Glove if he keeps it up. Where he's never been a bad defender, but that's a huge add to his game if he can be a Gold Glove defender. But yeah, anyway, he seems like the real deal. I mean, obviously we thought that last year. The team thought that last year when they gave him the big contract. But, you know, I think one big thing you want to see from any young player who comes out the gates hot when they're 20, 21, you want to see that they do struggle. And when they struggle, they know how to get out of it. And Homie was hitting like almost below 200 for a portion of this year. And now he's up in like the 270s, close to 280. He could end the year hitting it in the 280s. And
I'm not like a hitting coach or anything. I'm just a baseball hippie dude, I guess. But man, I think it's the inside fastball for him too. Because when he turned on a high and inside and just parked it, like I think at the beginning of his streak, I felt like that and a mixture of just really being disciplined and trying to take walks, like feeling like a walk is just as good because it means they're scared to pitch to you.
Yeah, definitely. He's got, I think the walks in particular, the on base has been kind of a hole in his game. And so as he kind of learns to fill that gap and, you know, not bite on these terrible sliders and slurves and sweeper pitches that he can't seem to lay off at times.
Yeah.
It just tightens up his approach so much more and gives him that on base angle. And when he's on base, he's a monster. He's pretty solid for 25 to 30 steals a year, and he's got the upside of he could steal up to 50 or 60 bases a year if they let him loose. Although I will say they kind of seem to. They don't want him to hurt. He's hurt himself before stealing bases, and they would rather have his bat in the lineup than have him stealing bases. But he has the potential to do that.
I feel like he slides a lot feet first nowadays.
But I feel like they've done work and shown that like sliding head first does not typically get you there any faster. Like I think you do have like the swim move ability to kind of like try and get out of the way of the tag a little bit more, but I feel like
baseball is the most sports sciencey of all the sports, man. It's like a vector sphere. It's physics. Like it's like CAD. You could CAD a whole baseball game, I bet you, or like some type of like mapping. That's why the stats.
It's a lot more.
I'm into that shit.
Yeah, not that other sports don't have like lots of repetitive movement and like repeatable situations. I would say though baseball more than like football, basketball, soccer, games where you're playing on like an open field or open court or open pitch, where I think there's a lot more variables than these 90-foot paths from base to base. You know, if you're talking about base running in particular, if you're talking about hitting and pitching, I think the goal is, you know, with exceptions, there's some people that don't fit into the mold, but I think generally the goal is to have like highly repeatable like movement and things like that. So I think that lends itself to kind of what you're talking about, the more sports science side of stuff.
Yeah. Baseball is such a goofy game too, because it's just like all our little like Trout was on the Movie Bets podcast talking about he had some good, like, I know we don't love Trout on the podcast because we're mostly a Mariners podcast, but man, I gotta say at first his like accent kind of annoyed me, but he's kind of funny, dude. He was saying like, man, sometimes like they're throwing Tic Tacs out there at you. Like he had the little buter saying, he was like, yeah, I was probably hit that one to 55 for sure. He was like talking about a highway, like, dude is just you. I don't know the way when he started talking baseball, he just started saying crazy shit. He's like, Mookie, he had to go to like instructional league. Yeah, man, when I had to go to the instructs. They were tight, man. I'm just a sucker.
I have a lot more respect for Trout if he didn't sign a fucking extension with the worst franchise in baseball.
Yeah, but man, Angels in the Outfield is still the best baseball movie. I know. Yeah,
is that your favorite?
Yeah, I'd say Tristan McKenzie said Sandlot, and then Mookie said Major League, I think. What about you?
Yeah, those are all good options. I feel like I think like shit. I don't know, man. I love The Sandlot. I love Field of Dreams.
Yeah.
I love.
Oh, there's the one about women in baseball.
Oh yeah, League of Their Own.
League of Their Own's great. That's got.
They made a TV show of that too on like Amazon or something. I recommend it. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's worthwhile, even if you've seen the movie. It's like different. It's not like a beat for beat copy of the movie or anything.
Yeah.
I love that movie too. I love that X-Files episode where the aliens are playing baseball in the Negro Leagues. You seen that one?
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite baseball things. That was tight. I
can't believe they did that, man.
I would say so. I guess my final answer. I'm sure I can name a handful of other baseball movies that I really love. My final answer would be it's like a tie for me between Sandlot and Field of Dreams because I have a lot of like, grew up watching The Sandlot, and that's kind of like that vibe. Love the vibe of that, and like just makes me want to go play baseball. And
okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Sandlot's your favorite. It sounds like.
Well, it's for me. It's a tie between that and Field of Dreams. Field of Dreams is like that. I have a great memory of my dad showing me that movie for the first time, and like my connection to baseball, I feel is really strong through that movie, through both of those movies. But yeah, I can't decide. It's one of those two movies for me. I do love Angels in the Outfield too. There's there's so many good baseball movies.
See, I'm like, I don't know. I love the AL West, man. I don't have as much. I know they're a poorly run organization, but we snaked Jerry DiPoto from them, and I felt like that literally, from the day it happened till now, was a big deal in the West. It's like they snaked. They kind of like, you could argue they kind of took Ohtani from DiPoto because he was doing heavy scouting on Ohtani, apparently, including like going over to Japan.
Yeah, from everything I understand about it, we were, we were the runner-up for that. It was pretty close, and I think his decision, I guess, he ended up going to the Angels because I've heard two things. One, he really wanted to play with Trout. He wanted to play with the best player in baseball. It's hard to turn that down. And then two, he didn't want to play in. He wanted to create his own legacy separate from Ichiro.
Yeah. I respect the whole thing, man. And like, I kind of feel bad for the Angels. I'm going to be 1,000 with you, man. But I'm just, man, DiPoto's our father, dude. He's the godfather. He's a fucking crazy man. But like,
I backed DiPoto since day one.
You really have, man. You really have. I can't take that away from you. I've been wavery, but like, I think it's time for his GM crown to come true. And it's like, the baseball gods definitely, the wind sways, where like, you don't just put together a good team and then you just win baseball games. It doesn't just work like that. But I think that the moves they did, they work in a weird way, and if the bullpens, the back end of the bullpens, the thing that shits the bed down the stretch, will I be surprised? No, not really. But like, did we have a choice? Not really. Rojas and what's his name?
Kenzone.
Canzone have been a better. They somehow have helped pick up that Mike Ford in that bottom of the lineup, which was basically our Achilles heel through the first half.
Oh, definitely. And Rojas has been getting real hot. So, I really wanted Colton Wong to work out. I liked the move when we first did it, but Colton Wong was a disaster. Rojas, even in his small sample size with the Mariners, has shown to me that he's better in this, in this role on the team than Colton Wong was. And Canzone has shown promise too, and I know that he was pretty highly touted before debuting with the Diamondbacks. And I think he's struggled a little bit to kind of get up to that level that he's expected to be at. But I have no issues with the Sewald trade. I think anytime you can flip a reliever that you got, there was an absolute nobody, and you take 3 years, you turn him around, polish him up a little bit, and you trade him for 3 dudes, 2 MLB ready guys, and a pretty respected prospect. I don't think he's on the top 100 list, but he played in the All-Star Futures game this year. That's not nothing.
Yeah.
So I don't have issues with it. I love Paul Sewald. He was shut down for us. He was, you have a lot of faith in the dude, and I think sometimes he could appear that he lacks stuff, but I think a big thing that you need from a closer is a dude who can just come in and throw strikes. He's not going to put batters on for free. And he was that almost every single time. He was not out there giving up walks and stuff. That being said, if we can't figure out we shouldn't be one reliever away from being competitive in the postseason. So I got to believe that we can figure it out. Munoz has been
Munoz and Brash lately, but mostly Munoz. Their shine, it's their time. It's his time. Up until this point, he was doing it. It's just because he got put in the closer role, and now he's crumbling a little bit. But it's like,
I almost think their stuff is better in the 7th or 8th. I don't know. I stick by what I said. The 9th needs to be dudes that can throw strikes, and that their stuff is generally
Campbell. Who would you put if you had it? If it was wild card.
I think the most solid, reliable guy that we have right now in the bullpen is Topa, and so I would like to see them try Topa in the closer position.
Aptly, that Chicago game you were talking about. Well,
did he even throw? He threw 1 pitch or maybe 2 pitches, and then we threw ourselves out of that game on the base paths.
Yeah, it wasn't his fault. I was just saying, you're not that far off. If those dudes really start to shit the bed, he looks to be the next. He's definitely a services guy.
Munoz can usually throw strikes is the thing, but sometimes his slider's not on. And when his slider's not on, it's just like a hanging 85-mile-an-hour pitch in the middle of the plate, which is just meatball. And I feel like if the slider's not working, the 100-mile-an-hour fastball doesn't really have anything to play off of. Because he kind of is at least to me, when he's at his best, he's like a reverse pitcher a little bit. He throws the slider a couple times, and then he gets you on a high 100 to 102 mile hour fastball. But if the slider's not working, they're just waiting and sitting high zone on that fastball. That's a home run pitch.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then Brash, I think we've been calling him Wild Thing. I don't trust. I love Matt Brash. I think he's a great pitcher. He's got good strikeout stuff. I don't know if I trust Matt Brash in the 9th inning in a one run game, especially in an away game.
Texas to win the division. We do not trust it. Well, anyways, man, let's talk about. Let's move into what the future holds a little bit, though, as we sit here on August 24th, because it is about to be September soon. And me and you doing this show 4 years, being lifelong baseball fans, we know what September means for baseball, which is helmet time, bro.
Helmet time.
Time to fucking put on the hard hat.
Is that John Olerud? You
Bro,
got John Olerud on the pod.
Trying to win the pennant, baby. Okay, so last show, I just remember we were talking about what defines this season in that Tim Anderson fight with Carlos. Man, that was a defining moment. But there's some other things which we'll probably not get into ever, maybe. But it's just because it's sad and it's just fucking disgusting and weird. But baseball is a weird thing. It's humans, you know, and it's like, I think that's what I've always like. It's like part of our lives, you know, in a way that's like when you look at the 90s and you see 90s baseball player, and then you look at the 80s and see an 80s baseball player, the differences are not like that they're different people. It's just the styles and the fashion and the drugs and the music, you know, like everything they do, the culture basically is different. So it's like,
yeah,
just it's interesting to be this post, like, I don't know. Baseball is for nerds, man. Real talk. It's just like, you get, I don't know, like it takes a special, like I was talking to my cousin and he was telling me like a Thursday night football game gets like way more viewership than the game 7 of any World Series, like just some random Thursday night. You know, that's hard because of the way the schedule is set up and all that. But like, I don't know, man. It's just like the game itself is just, you know, in a fun place as we head into the pennant. But sorry, I kind of got sidetracked there. Let's talk about the future of the Mariners, man. Something I probably couldn't have said last week. We were going into a wild card 3, kind of fucking around with Toronto. After we swept Houston at Houston for the first time since 2018 or some shit. Did I read that right? 2000 something.
It's got, I mean, I would have said it was even longer ago than that, but
do we have a chance to win the AL West this year? Is that am I talking just another crazy hippie Mariners?
Nah, dude, we absolutely have a chance. We're sitting one game out right now. We're mathematically tied with Houston. However, we are 8-2 against Houston and only have 3 remaining games against them this season. So that means we hold their tiebreaker over Houston. So if the season was to end and we were tied with Houston, we would automatically be considered above them. So right now, technically, we're in second place. They're in third place. And us and Houston are both sitting one game out behind Texas. And we've got 35 games left. I don't know exactly.
We've got 7 games against the Rangers. And the last time we played the Rangers, they spanked us into oblivion. I'm talking one of the worst series losses I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was rough. It was rough. But anyway, so we were
a different team. It wasn't like in the middle of our streak. It wasn't after the All-Star break where, again, this year we've been fucking insane, just like last year. The best team in the league, basically.
Yeah.
What the hell, dude? The Mariners are a great team to root for in 2023, everybody. Let's just say when we start this podcast, I couldn't have scripted it better, man. And like, again, even if we lose, because me and you, we're hippies, dude. We got a good attitude. Even if we fucking lose, we're not like the trolls, dude. We're a little more just like, yeah, like, you can't really take a lot of negative away from this season. I mean, I guess if you like, we lost on the last game, it was heartbreaking. That's a classic Mariner move. But we've seen it all, dude. We've literally been. We got in this podcast when they were in the 18th year of their drought, 19th year. So we came official. I'm happy about that for the Baseball Hippie Show. And I'm starting to get the goosies. We'll see. It's going to take a little more because they're all like easy schedule. That means nothing to me for the Mariners. They're just such a wily bunch. But again, is the starting pitching in the core, they didn't get rid of any of the guys, the main characters. And that to me was enough of a symbol to be like, yeah, of course we're not going to blow up the team. Like we have a good team no matter what, you know. That's what we come in and we're just trying to build a pedigree of like, you put together good offense and you have good starting pitching, get some bullpen guys together, you could have a chance any year you play in the MLB.
Yeah, I don't want to face us in any 3 to 5 game series. We've got arguably the best pitching in the league. I think numbers wise, I don't think we technically have the best pitching in the league, but I think slot for slot, if we were going into 5 game series, we slot up just about as good as any other team, and our guys on their best days are as good as any other guys on their best days. And you know, at least 2 to 3 of those guys, I mean, I think Hancock's out for the season, but like Wu and Miller, they're still developing and haven't even reached their peak yet. And you know, Kirby, I think, is just now kind of reaching that peak. Gilbert's solid. Castillo is proven, you know, and that's not even considering, like I said, Hancock, Ray. I know you love when I bring up Marco and throw him into this thing, but who knows where those 3 dudes are going to be? Because you know, Hancock's out for the season. Marco, I think he's got 1 more year after this, so we may try and move him in the off season. Ray, who knows when he'll be back during next season, because I think he had Tommy John or some other sort of arm surgery. So anyway, our pitching is performing like they're supposed to, and the way our team is designed, I think, is designed to compete with anybody, because we set ourselves up to, we don't have to go out there and score 5 or 6 runs a game. Sometimes it's enough to score 2 runs a game and we can win. But that being said, it's nice when we do go out and put up 14 like we did against the White Sox the other day. But to go back to what's that?
We battle too. It's
yeah,
like,
we do.
It's not
we
every
battle.
day 14. It's like there's just a sense of like, from the starting pitching to the lineup, we, like I've been saying all year, we have growing pains, and if you're a true fan, you just see there's just like, it's just, you guys rest on your greatness, you know. It's just like, keep it steady. JP's the leader. JP kind of embodies what the Mariners' attitude is, which is like, you're kind of laid back, but you're also just like, know that if you just attack every game, you will get your situations. And with the lineup, just keeping runners on base, they're not always good. They'll leave a lot of runners on. But if you can get those guys on, man, you can. The Mariners are the perfect example of how you can do damage. And then with the starting pitching, like, it's just, yeah, you're just +3 every game. But like, if you just don't give up more than 3 runs, you got a fucking chance, because the offense is going to do that other formula. And that's how math works, you know. It's like,
yeah.
And then you got to keep it close with the middle guys, which we've done great at. And then, you know, I just think a defined closer role for the Mariners is just weird territory, anyways, with the way Scotty works a bullpen. But
I don't, and that's kind, to me, that's kind of outdated. The concept of needing it to just be this one guy. Like, I would like them to pitch more of like, who's the best matchup for this, and not just fucking left-handed, right-handed matchup, because that shit kind of drives me crazy. But like, who's like the most ready to face this set of batters that's coming up? And I don't think it needs to be the same dude every game. But anyway, back to your initial question: is it possible? Are we gonna have a shot at the division? You know where I stood a month and a half ago, was absolutely fucking not. But we've had a perfect storm of Texas shit in the bed, Houston not being as competitive as they usually are, and us being incredibly competitive and finally getting everything to click. We have a great opportunity the next week and a half of KC, Oakland, the Mets, before we go into a pretty difficult stretch for September. I mean, So for September, we started off with the Mets, which, you know, the Mets are tricky because they're not great, but they have a handful of really, really, really talented players. So, like, you know, shit could go their way. We can't just roll in there expecting to win. It's kind of the same deal with KC. There's a lot of good players on KC. They're a young team. They're a little bit more inexperienced, but they can, as we saw when we played them, they can play. So we got to be careful with KC. We got to be careful with the Mets. But then we play Cincy. We play Tampa Bay. We have a little bit of a break series against the Angels. But then we go across town and we play the Dodgers. Then we get another little bit of a potential break against Oakland. And then we finish off the season Texas, Houston, Texas. So
and on top of this, just for all the movie that anybody's trying to write a movie script about the 2023 Mariners, the Rangers and Houston got the Hall of Fame, like the aging Hall of Famer from the Mets. They each got one of them. And they both, like, Texas has been dealing with injuries. I'll give them that. But, like, it's just so, in Houston too, but it's like just so funny that they went and got Scherzer and Verlander. So it'll be like a video game. We'll have a game or two against Scherzer, probably 2 games. It's the last, especially if it's competitive. And I mean, we're gonna see crazy shit if it's like we're 1 game out and it's the last game of the season and we're facing them, dude. We might see Scherzer out of the fucking 9th, but I'm not gonna get into that because even like I said, we're set up in a good position. But yeah, like I said, man, beginning goosies. Just like the preamble to a real thing.
We're in a great position, like I said, and shit keeps breaking our way, man. Like everything's going right. The Rangers have lost 7 in a row. They keep losing games late in the game. Their bullpen is falling apart. And Houston, we've shown we can handle Houston this year. I know the Houston fans will say like, "Oh, we haven't had all our guys healthy at one time," and they might be right about that. But like, I hate that excuse because like that's part of baseball too. Is you got to build a roster that's going to stay healthy. So shit happens sometimes. Like one of our top of the rotation guys, I know people will argue with that statement, but Robbie Ray went down after his first game and he's out for the whole season. We've had injuries too. You know, we missed JP. We just had our leadoff hitter and one of the most consistent hitters on the team out for 10 plus days with a concussion, and we won every single game that he didn't play in. So, you know, we have injuries too, and you just got to persevere through that. And to use that as like an excuse of why you're not competing, it's kind of whack in my opinion, because it's just part of the game.
I mean, yeah, but it's just nice to be mentioned with the big dogs, man. Let's be honest here. Like, they've been bullying us for years, man. It's like we literally plant the seeds and are just watering the young. I don't know, that sounded weird, but like we want the moves out of Issaquah just seem genius today. I just don't even understand it, to be honest. I really feel like Wu is, if we make the playoffs this year, Wu is my guy. Because I'm like, and Bryce Miller, obviously, but I'll put him in a tandem. Because Bryce Miller was touted to be pretty fucking good, but Wu, I think he really shaky, but man, it's like I said, the 3+. He's just like a little. It's just such a like go to work mentality. It's just like, just gotta work, man. Nobody out there expecting you to pitch goose eggs every inning. Just pitch anything under 3 runs, man. We will fucking win the game. And it's like, I think our odds are hella good on that, man. I love our brand. I fucking love our brand.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Yeah, gonna be more of a Mariners fan right now, and I feel like this is kind of trolling the Rangers to have this kind of a Ranger hat to me, but I feel like Elmer. So yeah, man, we should do a little weekly roundup, but I could talk about the Mariners all day. I'm so happy to make this podcast with you, dude.
No, yeah, I think that kind of
We're gonna
covers it
win the
all, so we can move
fucking-
on.
I'm not trying to jinx it right here on this show, but we're gonna do it, man. We have a podcast. We believe in psychedelia. I just feel I know away from a Mariners fan, bro. I know how the tides turn. It's our turn, baby. It's our fucking turn. Texas isn't built, dude. Even when Evaldi comes back, because I realized he was injured. Their bullpen's crumbled. We have guys. We have a whole setup, and yeah, we are shaky. I'll admit, but only in the back end. Because our ERA is great, and we have more than just Munoz and Brash. We got like 3 or 4 other guys who have been straight up decent, man.
Yeah,
I never
Spear,
really loved
Topa, Saucedo, they've all been good. That new dude, I don't know much about him, but that new dude pitched like 5 Ks in a row the other day in his debut. Like,
And the guy we got from Arizona was okay, even though he's given up a few, but like nothing crazy. Nothing like Texas where we were just getting straight murdered. But I think it's a whole different team. It's literally a different team. I think we're going to start. I mean, I think the last 4 games are at home. It's going to be crazy, dude.
yeah,
The last 7 games.
The last 7 games,
Texas-
and we have Houston for 3 and Texas for 4.
And then before that, we play Texas, right?
Yeah, Texas in Texas, then back for Houston and 4 more against Texas.
It's time for the bullied to stand up and unite. No more 13-run games, Brownbear. In fact, we're going to win the game. The bad luck Bears are coming back. And you know what? We're not going to do it in spring. We're going to do it at the end of the year when it fucking matters. Put your fucking helmets on, everybody. Put your game on. I'm telling you, man. I'm so happy to be wearing the J-Rod. 22-year-old trying to become a statue out here. What are y'all doing? Going to work? Oh, what? Yeah, well, he's trying to become a bronze statue. Takes a couple years to do. But Otani might begin Tommy John, and
Ugh.
I just listened to Chris Rose podcast, and it was like what listening to a funeral, dude. But it was funny because Plouffe kind of talking sense to me. Well, usually I'm not a huge Plouffe. I'm more of a Chris guy, but like he was like, yeah, it's like not the biggest deal because like he might never like really the pitching part, but like he probably is gonna hit next year. It's not like he's actually out. He's kind of just like a monster at the plate too. Like he could just go down in history as a great DH, which would be a sad way to end the Otani. Like he'd probably go back to Japan at that point. But knowing him, he's probably either not going to get surgery and try to pitch, or get surgery and just come back and pitch and just say fuck it.
Yeah, who knows, man. My main takeaway from that is what is going on in the Angels training room and like with the medical staff, dude. Like absolutely crazy to me that so as early as 3 weeks ago, at least to my knowledge, I don't follow the Angels season, but 3 weeks ago we played them in that series where we swept them. Yeah. He was taken out early in the start for arm fatigue, and I think he was held out for another start after that, and then they let him start again. Like, I don't know when they should have shut him down, or they should have done an MRI or something back then to find out what's going on. Yeah. Seems a little bit negligent to me, and I know they were pushing to get to the postseason with him and Trout before he potentially leaves at the end of this season. But then did you see Trout came back for 1 game the other day? Now he's back on the IL because he's like not feeling good, like came back too soon. So to me, they're either letting their players dictate their time a little too much, which I think, these are all adults, they're professionals. Obviously, you got to let them do that in some regard, but someone's got to step in and be like, dude, we've held you out for 2 games pitching. We got to scan your arm. I don't think we're going to let you throw again today. It's not like, it seems negligent to me, and I feel bad for the dude because he's in a contract year. He's potentially going to get the biggest contract ever. And now that's all in jeopardy. Obviously, he's still one of the top hitters in the league, so it's not like he's completely toast on his contract. He'll still get a great deal, but it's bad for Ohtani. It's bad for the sport. It's bad for their, they've messed up in a slew of other ways, but it's bad for their push to try and get into the postseason. It just seems foolish to me all around. But it's the Angels we're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I want to talk so much mess on the Angels, but like I said, I just genuinely feel bad. It's just like, it just reminds me of the early Mariners, just clueless to the way the game has changed, which is kind of have after alchemy of where you just have to have a really, a Jerry type, someone who's just really pushing for good analytics, trying to figure out who the next best is, instead of just buying whoever the F you want. I mean, I don't want to call out the Angels too much, but I want to kind of attack the Rangers. We're attacking people. But it's you could argue, they just spin, get some Scherzer. Yeah, try to patch up all the little problems, but we know how that goes, man. You can't, like I said, you can't just buy it. And I'm so happy for us, but at the same time, I respect Texas, and it's going to be a battle. But if they come in with this, they lose, they start winning, and they start losing again, man, I just see this play out where it's it's just keeping it close, and then the bullpen just chatters because we put runners on, and they walk a guy home, and then it's a mess, man. It's laughing. Man, this is the play game basically, but who knows? And we're the Mariners, so who knows? But I will say, other Oakland Angels, we're an interesting division, man. I think if we win it this year, it's because we took the opportunity. That would be the main thing. Getting sentimental. Well, anything else around the league though before we close out here?
The Yankees are historically bad for the last.
And the Mets are getting better.
The worst they've been in a long time.
Nobody hates a Yankee like a Yankee. New York just secretly just when they're bad, they're just it's feeding season for the fans.
Oh yeah.
They've been top quality.
I don't think many of the folks in the clubhouse will be having jobs next year.
No, but Aaron Boone, as much as he has an interest, I think there's probably a lot of different opinions about him. I'll come out and say I fuck with him pretty heavy.
Okay.
Weirdly, he's thrown on me when he did the thing. It got me. That's the one that took me over. I'm like, this guy's a legend because I think he kind of knows. I think he was told before he went and did the thing. I bet you the day or two before he was brought into an office, and it's at the end of the season we'll be letting you go no matter what happens here, unless obviously
probably. I mean,
yeah, and they were just but we're going to tell you now, Aaron, so you can make preparations, and we won't just embarrass you because we're the Yankees. We're classy like that. We appreciate you. We know you're in a hard position, but
I'm kind of surprised he's still I feel 2 years ago.
You got to give him credit. He goes on motherfucking John Boy. He does not,
Yeah, no, respect.
Try to, block it. He kind of does what a manager should. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. No, and I respect that about him. I don't have a whole lot of opinions on how his skill or his performance as a manager. I just, there's an expectation that the Yankees are in the playoffs and competitive every season. And I feel like he's fallen short of that expectation a few times. And so I'm honestly surprised he still has a job this year with the Yankees. So I fully expect, and I'm sure he fully expects, even without having to have a conversation with Cashman or whoever else he has that conversation with, that he's done. You know, he knows, like, if they're not in the postseason and if they're not competitive, like, his time is up. So,
which will be interesting because I bet you he becomes an announcer. Because I don't know if another team will just straight take him. He's like, he really got the managerial role by being a Yankee legend, which was funny. Me and Tobe and Josh were kind of mentioning
just give
that.
Give him a segment on Talking Yanks where he does the grid every day or something.
Fucking grid, man. Just brought to
it's
my
hard,
attention.
dude. Do you ever try it?
Nah.
I play it every day. It's fucking hard. I've only gotten it like 2 or 3 times.
Nice. That's tight. You've gotten it. Yeah, I mean, I could probably be all right, but it's great. We should do the grid on the show. I love how, like, spreading that baseball knowledge is where it's at.
I think
man.
I did it today. Otherwise, we could try and pull it up and do it. It's hard because you don't get any misses. It's fucking like you miss one and you lose. I guess
Can
that's
you still guess the other one.
I guess that, yeah. You can guess up until you miss. What is it? 9 guesses.
Okay.
Or like each guess you get takes you get 9 guesses total. So like,
yeah,
you can't finish it if you miss one. That's the idea, like the immaculate part of it.
Yeah.
But it's still fun. It's fun to try and remember. But when it's like someone who's been on the Rockies and the Marlins, it's like, oh fuck, I don't fucking know. Or like,
yeah,
someone who stole 30 bases for the Reds. Like, I don't fucking
John
know.
Boy really pushes the baseball media, man. They've really kind of took over. It's just weird because it's just like ever since the banging on the trash can video, he just turned that into.
That was big for him. I feel like the turning point was when Chris Rose lost his job on MLB Network, and he's just like, I'm gonna go on this YouTube show with John Boy, and that took them to a new level. I feel like.
Yeah, and I get it now because I moderately like that one baseball show with Chris Rose and
Kevin Millar.
Millar
is such a clown, but I did like that. What was it called? Intentional Talk.
Millar of this show, though, man. It would be like yeah. Anyway,
I liked that show. Kevin Millar's kind of a cornball, but that was a cool show. But respect for Chris Rose for like recognizing what John Boy. I mean, I'm sure he has an agent and stuff who was like, "This is the shit" in terms of like new baseball media. So I don't know how much of the credit is deserved 100% to him, but like he took the job and he did that rather than going for another network job, which he had the credentials to do. You know, he hosted that Intentional Talk show for a number of years. So
yeah, and he doesn't have to do shit, dude. He can take more days off.
No, and I mean, and they're legit. It's not like like I think you could see it as like a step down. He was on network TV.
Yeah.
Or cable TV, rather, yeah. But it's not really. I feel like they are legitimate baseball media, and I think he going to them and having his show was a big part of their
and I listen to Rose rotation too. It's cool. He gets guys. I wish Pitch Ninja would do more. They're another great one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, I've just been consuming baseball stuff, and it's just like I'm gonna start a baseball business. I've decided. I don't know what it's gonna be yet, but I just want to get into the business of baseball, my friend. But it's like I don't know. I'm just like I like baseball enough that like it's not like music where I couldn't like sell out or like sell my soul, but like I don't know, in baseball I could do it, and then if it just like if you had to like sell your soul, I'd be cool with that. But, yeah, like it's just like I don't know. I like below all the toxic shit. I don't know, like the guys who are into baseball are usually like kind of my speed, like homie wise. They're just chilled out, you know. They're just like
You gotta
Chris
be
Rose is funny.
you gotta be pretty
Luke
chilled
is
out
like,
to be a bit like a full time baseball fan. I feel like
yeah,
if you're a
and it's like,
hothead, you're gonna quit watching after your team loses a couple games in a row. You got like
yeah,
if you can watch a 10-game losing streak and like still tune into that 11th game, you got to be some type of chill. I feel like
yeah, yeah, you do.
and we did that shit for 20 years, bro.
We did. It was a long time, man. I wonder where did my life go. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I mean, yeah, and just it surprises me still this day, man. It just every day is just a. It really is like a garden, man. It really is like our nature. It just grows, and then it'll be back next year. And the games were starting to run into themselves. I'll be honest. I took a break on going to games because I'm just like after the All Star game, like I was saying last show, I was just kind of gamed out, man.
Yeah.
And the Toronto games are intense, dude. There's like it's trolling, dude. They're trolling us at the stadium. It's like it's abrasive to me, but I guess I'm like sensitive. But I'm like,
Well, they're trolling themselves right now because they're not. They're on the outside looking in, bro. That they're fucking Molson. Their Molson Gold and their fucking poutine standing on the goddamn sidelines.
They're just having a good
Come
time.
at me,
man.
Toronto.
I should sell poutine at the Toronto games. That's the business I want to get into. Something that you know what I'm saying. Like I like baseball, so I get me out to the games to do the business. But other than that, I could take it or leave it. You know, it's not like you know what I'm saying. That's the most successful business. Is like you love it, but you don't love it too much because you know what I'm saying. Oh man. Anyways. Let's not start businesses. Let's just chill out. Freaking. I'm in awe, dude. I really am. I'm gonna try to go to work happy tomorrow and just.
Oh yeah. Positive day.
That tomorrow there's even a chance that we could be calling ourselves in first place, even tied with first place. My mind literally cannot wrap my head around the concept with the way this season's gone. But it's coming to our front step. And the most thing I like I said, is the brand. Our brand, man. We're brand managers. It's just like the new guys are the fabric now because it's just like we just move the bases, you know? Yep. We just have we don't have a Wong anymore. No offense to Wong. Again, I'm not going to dog on him too hard, but it's just like that's really been the biggest difference.
Nah, you don't need to dog on him, but we gave him more chances than I think he more chances than the average player deserves to hit above 200, and he could not figure it out. So, thank you for your service.
He got picked up. He got picked up.
By who?
The Dodgers.
Wow.
So he might be on a playoff roster, dude. Is that crazy? Yeah.
That's insane. Good for him, man. I like him. He seems like a nice dude. I've liked his career. Like maybe it's the American League. He's like allergic to the American League.
Yeah. Maybe, dude. Maybe.
I don't know.
Brownbear, do you have any closing thoughts? We should.
Nah, man, I'm stoked. I'm excited. I'm already excited for the game tomorrow night. It's against KC, who, like I said earlier, they're not just going to roll over. Texas plays the Twins. They have a 4-game series with the Twins. I like our shot versus the Royals a little better than I like their shot versus the Twins. I don't know what their pitching matchup is. Let me see if I can figure that out. But they were winning against the Twins today, and then in the 8th inning gave up a couple runs and ended up losing 7-5. So let me see here. So we got Miller, versus Singer. Singer's the dude who threw like 7 innings and no hit ball on us a week ago. So hopefully we got his number at this point and got him figured out. And that doesn't happen again. Miller should be pretty solid for us. Let's see. Texas
has a hard schedule, by the way, too. I'm looking at it.
Yeah, Dane Dunning versus Sonny Gray. Both of them have about the same ERA.
John Gray. Oh no, Sonny Gray's on the Twins.
Sonny Gray on the Twins. Dane Dunning for the Rangers. But you're right though. John Gray does pitch for the Rangers.
Who the F is Dane Dunning?
He's kind of like some random dude, but he's got like a 3.16 ERA. He's pretty good.
Did he pitch against that? I think I might have remembered that dude. But yeah.
Yeah, he worked us for sure. But yeah, they've got a rough schedule. They play Minnesota and then for 3 more games, and then right into Houston for 3 games. Or those two will beat up on each other while we're playing the A's. I gotta say, like I said, we can't count our eggs before they hatch, but I like the sound of that. I like the sound of that. Then they do play Oakland, but then they play 4 games against Toronto, followed by 3 against Cleveland and 3 against Boston. And then, yeah, dude, this could come down to the final week of the season. We play them 7 times.
I just want you to be prepared if it does, man. Maybe you should mob up, dude. Get some tickies.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what I can do about that.
Refuse to lose, Soda Mojo.
I think this little baby is a little young to make it through a full baseball game still, so I'll probably have to leave him at my parents' or something, but we can figure that out.
Oh yeah, no. Henry is not invited, no offense. This is grown man shit if it gets down on the He'll have his day in 20 years in 2043.
Yeah.
When the Mariners have won a couple World Series and they're
Henry is not
there's a Julio statue out in front. There's a freaking Julio statue out in front. Henry's getting shit-faced drunk with all his little hellion friends. Just kidding. Man. Yeah, it's a good time, and just on that, like, also, you know, like, life's a trip, you know. Philly was good. Shout out to that should have been the shout out to my niece getting married, man.
That's
my cousin. She's my cousin, not my niece. Sorry. Yeah, my cousin, my straight up cousin. I had a good time, and I went back to where I used to sell posters, where it started, and it was better than the second time. I'm gonna be honest. And yeah, man, we'll see what happens. I got some Texas tickets. I got the 28th on my season tickets. I knew they were gonna be big. Telling you right now, man. I just love it. And again, I'm gonna keep the attitude where it was all about right at the beginning of the summer, where I disconnected my personal happiness with the Mariners because I was so frustrated with how inconsistent they were playing that I just made just like a hippie oath, like a straight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I went through that same shit last year, man. That's how I was so zen last year during all that bullshit. It's the move, dude. It's the move. You gotta let it go.
Yeah, so that's why I'm just happy to be alive, really, and just talking baseball. And so I'll see you next time. We do weekly roundups, but they're more just like bi-weekly.
Yeah, it's like, I also feel like you brought it up, you touched on it, like the biggest baseball news is shit. We're just not gonna. I don't think we need to bring that on the pod.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, we can if we want, but like, I just.
Like what'd you say earlier? It's it's nasty, nasty, dirty, awful stuff.
Weird.
And what we're talking about is the Mets. Nasty, dirty, awful. No, I'm just kidding.
We're talking about the Yankees. My favorite Yankees meme is the Yankees garbage truck that had like the Yankees insignias on it. They were
that was hilarious. Look, the team bus. Yeah, that was so good.
But yeah, man, shout out to to everybody out there.
Shout out Tobe.
Yeah, shout out Tobe.
Come back, Tobe.
Tobe went to a Phillies game.
Oh, he was actually. Like, I remember he said that I thought you guys were just watching the game. He was at the actual game.
Yeah, his girlfriend posted a story. We got to get that on the next show, man. We got to get him to send us some pics to put on the show.
Dope.
So shout out to Tobe out on the East Coast, man. And yeah, man. Shout out to Brown Bear, we've been talking a lot of shit, but I'm feeling sentimental, man. I'm just like, I don't want to beat up on the Yankees or the Mets, man. There's been a lot of tough franchises. If the schedule's done anything, it's exposed the weaknesses, which is kind of what I thought it was going to do, man. It's like all three of the rule changes at today, and this might not be at the end of the season, but it's been pretty damn good, man. Wow. Manfred. Manfred's trying get some due back. But
I still don't fuck with the Ghost Runner, but everything else has been pretty lit.
The Manfred rule, that's his crown jewel, remember? Don't be fucking with that.
No.
That ends game. It's called the game ender. That's what they used to call it. Oh, you don't fuck with it because we lost on it, where it's like they didn't earn a guy to second base. They just automatically have him there. He steals third and gets caught stealing, and then it hits him in the head and they win the game. That's just rewarding being bad at baseball, man.
Yeah, I don't love it. But hey, we had 9 other innings to win it in, and we didn't. So
true.
The real issue, I think, is we had like 12 or 16 or some shit left on base that game. So that's the real problem.
But again, getting 16 on base, I'm okay with that. Have built the team. It's just like
you polish that turd, Jay. You polish it.
Yeah, true. All right, you're right. I could get right back in, and we can do a whole nother podcast. All right, man. It's been good.
All right.
We'll see you next week, everybody. Much love.
Bye.